The security threat posed by Russia is real. Vladimir Putin wants to take over Ukraine, revamp Europe's security structure, and keep Finland and Sweden out of NATO. We must assume that his actions have no limits. Well, those words are a warning from Alexander Stubb, the former Finnish Prime Minister. He's released a 10-point thread on Twitter to spark action over Moscow's ambitions, and he joins us now to discuss what he would like to see happen next. Well, thanks for taking time to speak to us here on the programme. You've often suggested Russia needs to be treated with caution, but were you surprised by the fact that Vladimir Putin's launched this action 7 days ago?
Yeah, I am surprised because I was involved together with Foreign Minister Bernard Kouchner in mediating peace in the war in Georgia in 2008, and we were able to muster a ceasefire agreement in about 5 days. So I saw the pattern, the playbook being exactly the same that we saw in Georgia and the Crimean Peninsula. So I thought he would stop at some kind of a frozen conflict with Donetsk and Luhansk. So last Thursday morning, when he launched the attack about 8 days ago at 6 in the morning, I was quite surprised that he would go the full way. But now we see what the face of war looks like, and we don't know where Putin is going with it.
Let's just unpack some points of your 10-point thread. I was particularly interested in what you said in number 3, where you said, we're at the point of no return, but you congratulate Europe and the world for taking this so many moves of solidarity. But do you think you've said that these countermeasures have been firm and fast, but are they enough?
Well, nothing is probably enough. I think my basic point is very simple there. Point of no return in the sense that it's very difficult for any regime in the world to work with President Putin anymore. And I think he's totally and utterly isolated. The sanction policy that we've seen, not only from the United States and the UK, but especially from the European Union, is basically total isolation. So we're talking economics, finance, politics, going to be energy, sports, culture, transport, you name it. So this means that we are going to a world where there's a real geoeconomic iron curtain between Russia and the rest of the free world. And in my mind, Putin, it's the point of no return for him. There's no way out. I mean, he's cornered, he's isolated. But I also argue that change can happen only from within. It's not something that, the West can force upon him. Of course, we're helping out with the sanctions, but change will have to come from inside Russia.
And another point, let me just double down on this, is that you say in a week, perhaps ironically, he's achieved the exact opposite of what he wanted to. We've got a more reinforced Europe now, a more reinforced NATO as well. But do you think this could also translate to more support for NATO membership in Sweden as also in your own country, Finland?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, fear is never a good master, but the truth is that the opinion polls on NATO membership, both in Finland and Sweden, has actually reversed. So we are now at 53% in favor, and I predict that the next one, as this war goes on, will be much higher. So, paradoxically, obviously, Putin has achieved what he did not want to achieve. I think there is a slow movement of moving towards NATO membership for Finland and Sweden. But you also have to understand that our political leadership is now, in both countries, very concerned about the security situation. They do not want to escalate the conflict. They do not want to bring war to the borders of northeastern Europe. So that's why they're making their moves very carefully. You will know, and you will probably report, that my president, Sauli Niinistö, is today meeting with Joe Biden in Washington, D.C. And you can imagine that the talks are going to be, intense, open, and direct. And I'm sure they will have something to do with NATO membership, with security guarantees. But the situation right now is so crucial that we just need to guarantee our own security, because we do not know what Putin is going to do next.
Now, you've said that regime change, and ultimately you believe that this is only going to end by regime change from Russians from within. But at the same time, Russians are also proud of their record and reputation of enduring hardship. So do you think these sanctions ultimately will spell the end of Vladimir Putin?
Well, it's too early to say for any of us. I keep on saying that this is most probably the beginning of the end of Putin. The only thing we don't know is that how long this end will last and how much damage will be done before it ends. I mean, as I said, it's not only in 7 days he has achieved the exact opposite, but he's actually brought Russia back to the times of the Soviet Union and then some, in the sense that, we're seeing interest rates being pushed up to 20%. We're seeing Western companies pulling out. We're seeing finances being frozen. We are unfortunately seeing the type of sanctions that South Africa used to see in terms of sportsmen not being allowed to participate in events. So, the isolation is utter and total. And, you can't be the biggest country in the world and North Korea at the same time.